Hello, my squishies, and welcome to the Caledonian Wool Company's Orkney Orkney Sunset. I've already forgotten what I'm doing. Orkney Sunset Felt Along. Um, so just gonna give everyone a second to come in, and while we're waiting, if someone could say hello in the comments, I will give those that have not felted before a brief introduction to felting, and then we will get on with felting this lovely landscape sunset. So in your kits you've got your felting mat, so you always want to felt onto that because that saves your surfaces and protects everything, makes felting easier as well. You've also got your felting needles. Now these are really sharp, so they've got barbed one end and a hook on the other, so it's the barbed end that we're using for the felting. Please do not stab yourself with them. They are very sharp. Keep your hands nice and far away from where you're going because it does hurt. Now you can use them just like this. I tend to use them like this, but I have included in your kit this handy dandy tool. So what this is a sort of needle holder. So to work this, you take out the little peg there, grab your needle and lay it in the groove with the hook over the thin end, and then pop the thin end back in again, and that's you ready to go. I'll do that one more time. So you've got a little peg at the end there, pull that out, put the needle in the groove with the thin end with the hook over it, and then pop the thin end back in there. So you can use this, it just helps for grip, makes it a little bit easier. You get these in, so this is a single needle one, you can get them in 3, 6, and you can get machines that do lots. But so if you want to use that, it's in your kit for you. I tend to, like I say, I just hold them, and I'll hold either 1, 2 or 3 depending on what I'm doing at the time. If you do, and these needles can break, it does happen. So if you do break a needle, always retrieve the broken end and dispose of it safely. But that's why you've got a few in your kit. So we've covered needles, the mat, needle holder. This is what we're going to felt onto. This is our felt, it's called pre-felt. It's sort of a felt backing. And it's Shetland wool, I think it's Shetland wool, that's been lightly felted, but is ready to be felted on more. And then we've got the most important and the most fun thing. You can't see, but I'm leaning into the camera in my excitement. We have our tops, or roving. So what this is, it's it's got some sellotape attached. It's I haven't mentioned yet, I ramble a lot of nonsense on these streams. I apologise in advance. But yeah, so this is our roving. So this has come off the sheep, it's been washed, it's been dyed, and it's been brushed, and it's loosely held together in this tops or roving. And when we're working with this, there's a few handy dandy tips. So you want to have your hands nice and far apart and gently pull, and you can get these little sections out. So this is the length of the hair or the wool that was on the sheep, and if you were to try and pull it with your hands too close together, you're literally pulling on either end and it's not going to come apart. So you want to have your hands nice and far apart, and then you can just gently pull out little bits. And as well, if there's any twist in it, it's not going to pull apart either, because twist is what holds it together. Like in yarn, it's magical. So you want to have it with no twist, nice and straight, and you can just gently pull out little bits. Because I will, in the chorus, is normal in my rambling streams, less is more with felting. So we're going to put layer up tiny little thin layers to make just this wonderful depth, and yeah, to make our beautiful picture. So have I forgotten anything? I have. So I'm going to do this. I go through it fairly fast because I have been doing this for a while now. But you are free to mute me, as my parents have discovered. Give me a shout in the chat if you're watching, Mum and Dad. Mute me, fast forward me, slow me down, pause me, rewind me. I'm quite happy with all of it. So if my rambling is getting to you, just turn the volume off. Although I have got some interesting Orkney facts to tell you later. You don't have to listen to them if you don't want to. Oh dear, nobody is saying hello in the chat. I'm hoping that I can be heard, or is it my chat is not working? Give me 1 second before we start felting, just to make sure. That I'm actually live and recording this and not just talking alone to a microphone in my studio. I'll take a sip while I wait for confirmation that I'm going. And this gives you guys a chance to get all your stuff together. Because I have my coffee with me, because it's only... Yes, I'm a little bit early today, because this is a special stream for Orkney. I'm going to go ahead. Right, let's get felting. So with this particular one, this Shetland Sunrise, we're going to kind of work so from the middle out, I think. And we're going to create oh, I'm getting comments that I might not be live. Hold on 1 second. Am I going? No, I have a viewer. I think we're gonna go with it. Yep, so we're gonna start right back to back to it. Right, we're gonna start with the center and work out. So we're gonna have the sun sort of in the middle there. So I know this might seem very silly. We're gonna take some white fiber and lay it down on the center there. Now it does make a difference, and because if we were just to leave it as the sort of natural cream, you would notice a different in texture and stuff. So we are adding little bits of white. So we're putting a bit of sun in there. So it's just grabbing that much. Aha! I have confirmation in the comments. Panic is averted. You can relax now. Hello in the and apparently I sound fine. I'm fingers crossed. Rambling, but fine. So just laid down that little bit there, and we're going to reflect everything that we do in the top in the bottom. Oh, and when you're felting in, always want to go straight in and out. You never want to bend the needle, because that's when you're more likely to break a needle. You can go in at angles, that's fine, but you never want to bend it. And just now, I'm working really fast. I'm not going to felt this down well yet. We're just going to lay the colours down, and then we're going to go back in afterwards and properly like fix everything in place, because I want to get like the broad outline first. And also the nice thing about this stage, when we haven't felted it in very well, is that you can literally just pick it up and move position and change it a wee bit, which is very handy. So we can do no wrong just now. You're fine. Okay, so we've got our two whites there. We're going to grab the yellow and work that around the edge of the white, and we will layer up. So if you're starting to cover over bits that you've already done, don't worry, we're going to put more white on top and put more yellow on top and build up. So we're going to add yellow a little bit above and a little bit below along this line, and again the same again, we're going to pop it under the waterline, because we're looking, so this one, the Orkney sunset, I keep wanting to say seascape, I did that one the other day. Orkney sunset is in my head, everything's in my head here, when you're first coming onto the island at night and you're on that ferry and the harbour is just in sight. You can just see the island coming into view, or you're on a magical boat trip I'm gonna kind of put some around the edges as well, and we are going to go over the outline here. So you want to make sure this outline is here is just a guide. I don't want to be able to see that by the end of it, because I want to A, have options of where I frame it up, and B, you don't want to see any sort of anything around the edges. Let's just quickly put a thin layer down there, and then we're going to go for this beautiful orange. And I'm going to actually cover everything now in this orange. Well, not everything, but I'm going to cover, even though we're going to put blues on top, I want to have a good orange base everywhere. You see, I'm just quickly laying it down, quickly stabbing it in. At the moment, we're not being too particular. Just really loosely, so that if we do want to move it, we can. And remember, this is just a guide and idea. You're welcome to do your own version of this. It doesn't have to be exact. This is a nice thing about this one, is that you've got so much freedom to play with your sunset. And then I'm going to grab a little bit of the blue and start. I think I'm just going to have the blue coming in at the edges. I don't want the blue right in this lighter blue, sky blue, right in to the center. I reserve the right to change my mind, but for just now, that's what that's what I'm going for. Let's pop that gently in. And then I'm going to work the dark blue. So this, we're going super fast just now, so if you aren't keeping up, don't worry. Just pause me, but I'm not felting in well. I'm not making any sort of final decisions with what's going where. I'm just letting it, doing the first. So imagine you're doing an oil painting. We're just laying down a base coat, putting the colours sort of roughly where we think they're going to be. So don't panic and just enjoy playing with wool. And every so often you can also just move this and see. So I think I need to, so it will go right to this edge bit, so you'll see that blue coming in. I think I need to go a little bit lower with the blue. You also don't have to frame this if you don't want to. If you want to leave it as a square picture, you are more than welcome. I've just included the frame so that you've got an idea of how you can finish it. There we go. So I need to, the bottom of that line there, I need to take my yellow right up to there. Now, let's put a little bit of island in. How do you feel? Again, we're going to have a lot of wiggle room later on, so don't worry about getting it perfect. But I'm going to pop in just my little bit of island there, right in the centre, and gently felt that down. And now have a quick step back. See how it's looking. I know it's gonna, so how it's looking right now is a mess. So do not worry if yours looks like a mess. It's just a blobs of colour everywhere at the moment. This is what it's supposed to look like. As when we start felting it in more, it's all gonna start to come together. Do not panic. This is the mess stage, and I really like this stage because it's just freedom to throw things on. But the last thing that we have to learn before we're ready is every so often you do want to pull this up off of the mat and have a look at the back, and you can see, because if you go for too long it gets kind of stuck into the mat. So at this stage we can still wiggle it around a little bit It's still quite loosely felted. The more you felt it, the tighter it'll get and the less wiggle room you'll have. You know when it's like properly felted is it won't shift if you pull it, and that's when you're ready. But so we've got our nice sort of vague layout. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just stabbing over all of it to block it in, and then we're going to have a look at it and see where we want to build up some colours. But this is possibly, I think this is one of my favourite ones to felt, because it is just so simple yet so stunning. The colours, that's also because I love sunsets, they're my favourite thing. Hopefully you can see. It's starting to lock in. And definitely at this stage, if you don't like where some of the things have gone, if you think you've got too much of one, not enough of another, we can still pull it off and almost reset, put it back where you want it. Right, I want to, oh, I like this. So you can, it's got quite a lot of white here. So I think I'm actually going to pull that a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go in at the edges and make it a slightly smaller. Bring the, what am I trying to say? Bring the yellow slightly more in, and then this is where we're going to start having fun. So I like that. Do I like that? A little bit in. I'm going to take some of the orange and I'm going to start to get really nice and fine with it. So I'm going to pull just tiny bits and lay them on top of the orange. Lay on top of the orange, on top of the yellow, just coming in, so that we're going to see sort of hints of light and colour popping through. And this is where we're going to start seeing taking it from just splotches of colour to being this layered sort of dimensional. It's these fine details. And again, we're going to do the opposite, so I'm going to take some yellow and layer it just finely up, higher up. So you're seeing like little spots of colour reflected in the atmosphere. If there's any hints of clouds, they'll pick up, the colour will be picked up in them. It's not going to be a solid. And you can do this for a while. This is the fun bit. You can go layer on layer on layer. So I can add some orange on top of the yellow that I just added on top of the orange. Yes, I'm rambling. I'm so sorry. But it is. But seriously, it's these layers of colour that just take it from being (2D) to 3D, and I really like actually just having one orange just crossing that white there. Perfect. And we're going to do the same as we've done the sky. We're going to do the same in the water, letting the oranges into the yellows into the oranges. I'm going to do some blues as well. You can hear the crows outside. I wonder at last on when I was doing the Orkney seascape, which I did recently, we had a fairy horn go off as we were felting along. So I wonder if we're going to get a fairy today, because we're all about fairies. So I said in my last one, so I'm going to take some orange and fade it on top again, just building up these depth of colour. So I said in my Orkney landscape one that I've never actually been to Orkney, which is a terrible confession to make. I really need to get to Orkney. But I have been almost to Orkney when I was getting the ferry out for Shetland Wool Week. The ferry stops in Orkney at about 3 in the morning. Just to, I think, drop off things and pick up people that are going on. So I've been in Orkney's port at 3 in the morning. I vaguely remember waking up, seeing some lights, and then going straight back to sleep because we were going to Shetland Wool Week and we needed all the energy that we could get. But I fully intend, and I really want to get to Orkney. Because, interesting Orkney fact, Orkney has been inhabited for over 8,500 years. There are some amazing archaeological sites on Orkney. We've got all those, I still haven't found out the name of them. The houses that I love that are kind of built into the ground with those lovely brick walls. What else have we got on Orkney? I know I had facts, but I've forgotten all my facts. There is one more thing. So we've mostly got everything sort of blocked in and it's now just fiddling. But there's one thing that we haven't done yet, and I'm leaving it to this stage for a reason. So you can see I'm starting to sort of, the colours going on top there, so I'm going to add some more black on top. You can sit and pick out all the colours when you've accidentally felted them, but you can also just add more. But in this little island, what I really like doing is taking some of the extra white. Scarabray, I'm being told, is on Orkney, which is the house thing I was telling you about. Possibly. But there's also standing stones and all sorts of cool stuff. So I'm going to take some of the white and I'm going to, in fact, scrumple it. I'm not going to lay it down flat. I'm going to scrumple it up a little bit and felt it in. So it's just a tiny bit. But this is going to give us the sort of impression of little settlements of light, where there's houses that have little lights on and things like that. And you can just dot them randomly across, or if you have a specific view that you want, you can do that as well. But remember, this is your picture, you're in charge of it. I'm only giving you ideas. And if you want this to be a different island, you can make this any island you want to make it. If you've got a specific hill shape that you like, feel free. So we're frantically felting now. Right, so it's about time that I grabbed it off, and I want to have a look at it in the frame and see how we're looking. So when you pull it off like that, it will get all crinkled and rumpled up like that. So you can, especially at this stage, just give it a smooth. Perfect. Right, so how the frame works. This is just an embroidery hoop. So all we do is we unscrew up there. Boop, 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 boop. So you got center on the outside. So I've unscrewed it almost all the way, but we don't want that to fall off. Then I'm going to lay my picture on top. and you can kind of feel where it is, so you can move it around, wiggle it around, see where you want it to be, and then kind of just press on the inside so it doesn't stretch it too much, and squish it down like that, and you can see then what you would have. So just now I think I've got a little bit too much yellow. I want to bring the blue down a little bit more. So if you are going to put it in the frame, this is the stage where you can have a sort of a wiggle around. But we're definitely not at framing stage yet. We won't be at framing stage tonight at all. So I normally go for about an hour on these, and then I say stop, have a break, come back in a day or two and see if there's anything else you want to change, anything you want to move, and then give it a good sort of 10-minute stab all over, like a proper good 10-20 minute stab all over, and then it's ready to put it into the frame. Because just now we're still, our eyes are sort of focused on it quite a lot. So I'm going to bring this blue down and bring the orange down and in as well. But this is a fun bit. This is playing. But like I say, if you want to have it like this and not frame it, hiccups, oh dear, you are more than welcome to. And if you want to put more or less of one colour, feel free. There we go. Oh, I'm liking that. I'm going to have to do the same in the sea. So the sea can be a little bit more blocky almost, because it won't reflect it generally perfectly, and you can have more blues in the sea. There we go. That's giving it some nice depth there. Oh, I like that. And again, layering it up. So I'm losing all of, I've lost a lot of my light blue, although you can still see it in bits, which is awesome. I'm going to add some more on top, because that just puts in I could literally be here for hours just playing, adding in colour. The more you felt it, I stopped that sentence and just gave up, didn't I? The more you felt it, the more it'll pop and it'll just come out amazingly. Because we're almost past the messy stage just now. It's starting to become a thing with these lines of light blue that I've popped on top. I'm just giving it a good stab all over. Oh, I think I need some more orange there. So what other interesting facts do I have? Apparently none. My brain just went completely blank. Look at that. And if we take the frame, perfect. So we're getting some of that nice blue in there. And at the moment we've got room to play. If you like a certain bit better, you can frame it. So if you want it to be a higher up one, oh, I might go for that actually. Let's add some more blue up the top and see. Because you've got, especially just now, this is why we do a lot more than might be in the actual finished frame, so that we've got that room to play with the layout. So if I'm very used to felting for extended periods of time now. If your arm's getting sore, just take a break. And I'm using the 3 needles held together just now. It makes it go quite a bit faster. But there's no hurry for this. Like I said before, you can rewind, you can pause me, or as my parents just told me, they can mute me. I believe it was my dad that was the first instigator, although I did at the time blame Mum. There we go. I love the sort of the closeness that's bringing it in. It's all these layers that are doing that. I'm going to pop just some hints of orange on top. Oh, I like that. You can see that. Parents in the comments have confirmed that they can mute me. Ooh. Hello! Welcome to my felt along. I have a new person in the comments. So at the moment we're felting the Orkney sunset, and we're coming up to a stage where it's just all coming together. We've been through it looks like a complete mess stage, but it's now starting to look like an actual sunset. You should have seen it 10 minutes ago. It was just blobs of colour everywhere, and I can feel people at home with sort of starting to panic. But we're good, we've got past that stage. So we can see now, so when you lift it off the mat and give it a sort of a smooth out, a lot of the needle marks disappear, which is good. And on the back you can see it's all starting to felt nicely through into the back, and that's when you know you're getting somewhere. So we don't really have too much more to go today. Although it's a straightforward one, this one, but you can just keep going and keep adding colour and little details. But yeah, a good sort of 20 more minutes of felting in a day or two, and it'll be good to go. What was I going to say? Oh, I had an important points. If you're not sure about your picture, I've got a few handy tips. So your eyes get really used to it after a while, and you get kind of, you don't know what you're looking at, you can't see it properly almost. So I really like to take a photograph of it, and you can send it to a friend for feedback, or even just taking the photograph freshens up your eyes and you get to see sort of a different view of it. You can do you could look at it in the mirror and go away, get a cup of tea, hold it up on the wall. Because this is going to be hung on a wall, it is going to look different from how it looks flat on your felting mat. So it's a really good idea to pick it up, have a look at it in different lightings as well. So if you know where you're going to put it, go into that room and see how the lighting affects. And then just layer up those colours. So what else? I think I want to put a little bit, do I want to pop? Yes, I'm going to add some more white on top. There we go, just to sort of clean that white up a little bit. And you're trying to sort of mirror what's in the sky, in the sea. You can, and I reserve the right to change my mind and take this off, as I always do. And that is the joy of felting, is that, remember, we can, if we don't like it, especially at this stage, you can pull it off and move it into different places. I'm going to try and put a little reflection of the island in the water. I think I've tried this before and I wasn't sure about it, so let's have a go today. So I'm going to take a thin layer of the dark wool and pop it in the water there, and do another one just a little bit below that. So we've almost got, oh, I quite like it today. We've got the reflection, so you can still obviously see the colours underneath, but you've got this reflection in the water. Now I'm slightly squinty there. Oh, am I squinty? I'm squinty that way. I'm trying to level it up on camera. So you've got the reflection there in the water. That's optional. If it doesn't look right for you, take it away. But I think I might leave this. I think I want to put a little bit more yellow underneath it. So again, look, you just pull it off. Oh, the joy of felting. Pop the yellow underneath. You can't do this with acrylic paints, can you? And then whoop, put it back down again. There we go, that's a little bit clearer now that it's got that yellow underneath. Just making it pop. Perfect. Cool. Right. 5 more minutes stabbing all over. Oh, that's one thing I didn't mention at the start. So all of the wool that we are using, all of it, yep, all in this kit, is all Shetland wool, which I wonder if there is a rivalry between Shetland and Orkney. I don't know, but we are using Shetland wool for this felt along. So I'm just working my way sort of back and forward in lines, but you can do it in circles, you can do it in, thank you very much, any way that you like. Have I tempted you to start felting? So you can get these kits on my website if you're in the UK, and you can get them in my little shop in Fort William. I have a little wool shop in the centre of Fort William where I sell exclusively British wool, stuff for spinning and felting. But if you're in a different country, you can also, in most countries I think they sell, so this is, what we're using is called roving or tops, and yeah, you can buy it from any good oh, we've lost sound. Dun dun dun. So I could be rambling completely to myself. Let's see. Am I talking and nothing is being recorded? It is coming up on my end. I'm going to keep going as if you can hear me. Hope it is a technical issue at the other end. I have messaged going eep. Still no sound? So I'm going to pause this stream. Still no sound. I'm going to pause this stream. Oh, I think someone's hearing me. I pause it and start again, or do I hope that I can be heard? I have a notification. Let's see what this notification says. Nope, that's not helping me. Okay, I can be heard fine. It is only, it's my my parents are having technical issues, not me. Excellent. Thank you, Leslie. So, oh, my parents have lost the video now. I think it's definitely their end and not mine. So I'm gonna quickly message them, and then we'll get back to felt. This is terribly embarrassing. Carry on felting while I'm just dealing with technical issues. Okay, so to answer Leslie's question, so to get started, so we're just gonna, while I'm stabbing away, I'm gonna ramble nonsense at you. So to get started, we've got your foam mat. So this is what we always want to felt onto. The fabric that we're felting onto, which I'm going to pull it off just now, is pre-felt, or you can felt onto felt, you can felt onto, I didn't tell you this, but if you have accidentally thrown your beautiful wool jumper in the wash and felted it, I cut them up and felt onto them. It's still felt. So any kind of wool felt is perfect. So old jumpers, or you can buy felt in regular sort of crafty shops. So that's this felt that we're felting onto, and then it's just the rovings and the felting needle, which you can get obviously in my shop, but also good craft shops, and there's online places as well you can get the felting needles. So it's not much to set up. Doesn't take up much space. You just need your mat and your needles, and then obviously excessive amounts of wool, but maybe that's just me. I have them all plaited in this rainbow along the wall, so I just grab down what I need, and it is just, it's joyous. You can see the more that I'm stabbing along, the more it's coming together, and starting to feel, this isn't a very good word, it's starting to feel more felted because I am felting it more. But it's oh dear, I think I've broken myself. I was about to say it's been a long week, because I normally do these on a Friday, but this is Monday and the week has only just started. The technical issues at my parents' end, who I love and adore. Thank you so much for helping me with all of these streams. They're my technical advisors when the stream goes down, because it has gone down midway before. Bless them. I think that's why they mute me, because they're fed up with my ramblings. How long have we've only been at this 40 minutes. There we go. Do I want to add any little, oh yeah, I want to add some yellow layers. Just up there in the sky. Cool. And if you don't like the positioning of things, you've still got this freedom to sort of move it and squish it around. Right. I think we are nearly there. All of the colours are in. I'm super happy with how it's looking. I don't know if it's coming up on camera quite as it is in person, but it's starting to feel felted. I think it still needs a good sort of 20 minutes of felting all over to sort of complete the the locking in of the fibres, and then it'll be good to frame. I'm gonna take it out of the middle and just leave it in the edges. That's better. That's what it needs. There we go. And you can even put a few more in lower down, just to give the impression of sort of waves and things and darkness. So I obviously didn't tell you to do this, but there's probably a good amount left in your kit, so if you do have some other felt or anything you can felt on top of, you can do a second sunset. Shh, I didn't say that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pop it in its frame, and then I think this is annoying me. Nope. Because I've been laying everything very straight across, it was just this one bit there that that was not running straight across. So yes, I have been laying everything straight across in nice neat parallel lines, because that's the effect that I want for the sunset. For different effects and different sort of types of felting that you're doing, you can lay it down in different ways. You can scrumple it up, you can have them laying horizontally. So if I'm doing trees and stuff, I take a few different greens and then I completely scrumple them up and then lay them down so they're all scrumpled and stab it in. So you've got all the different effects you can play with. I've got other videos where I've done that on my YouTube channel down below. That was very YouTubey. But on this one I wanted everything just to be working horizontally. Have I forgotten any other useful tips and tricks? I don't think so. I think we are good to pop it into the frame. Or like I say, you can leave it just as it is. You can put it in like a glass frame, but for these kits I've included. So now we decide where we want it to be. So you have got all of this freedom. I'm going to have the sun in the middle, and I want it to be a little bit further down, maybe there. Yeah, I'm going to press down in the center, pop that down like that, and then, so imagine you've come back 2 days later and you've had your good 20-minute stabbing all over. It's perfect. It's exactly how you want it to be, or it's as good as. It's wonderful. So what you're going to do is you're going to pop it into the frame, make sure that the frame's all nice and level around, tighten this up as tight as it can go, and double check that it's sort of, pop it on your wall, check it's all what you want it to be. Like I can see now I want to make these go a little bit longer and be a little bit clearer, so I'm going to go back and change that. But then once you have it completely finished, all you need to do is take a pair of scissors and chop all the way around the outside. But that's not for tonight, that's for a couple of days later, once you've got it all, you've given it a good felting over. But there we go. Thank you very much for joining me on this unscheduled Monday afternoon felt along. I feel like it should be Friday night, which it normally is, but today we're all over the place. And hopefully you guys have let's get you straight so you can see it. Have a Orkney sunrise that you can enjoy. I swear there's going to be wars between Shetland and Orkney, and it's all my fault. Your Orkney sunset. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, I really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, pop some comments below, and we have our Facebook group where you can post about your felted stuff. You can show me. I love seeing all the finished pictures. But yeah, thank you guys. I'm gonna over and out, and I'm actually probably gonna go and do some more felting. Have a good day. Thank you, my squishies.